an international web. So that's in a few words about me.
Yes, thank you, Leons, very much. It's yeah, probably you've been in this field for quite a long time. That's very impressive. Yes, and Mary, you could just quickly introduce yourself.
Projects also.
I'm sorry, I think I've lost connection there for a few seconds. So sorry.
But it's okay, I think, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm sure that Mehdi has introduced himself already. So we can move forward, and we would like first to introduce the mission of the working group and what we're trying to do, so you have a better idea. So we came up with this outreach plan that has been discussed with the members of the our working group and with the steering committee. Actually, the goal of this outreach plan is to address unbalanced distribution of accredited NGOs by encouraging and rendering information support to potential NGOs from underrepresented regions and countries. So we have a chart. So the problem is that there are 192, I think, accredited NGOs from around the world, but they are distributed. They're distributed not equally throughout the electoral regions. So we would like to make them more or less balanced, trying to. So we came up this outreach plan, and here you can take a look at the distribution, and that was in 2021. That's a very nice illustration made by Kalayan. So there are 6 electoral groups that you already know, and if you take a look here, I'll close this one and see. So the most unbalanced representation is in Africa, Arab states, Asian Pacific, and some parts Latin America and the Caribbean. So if we take a look in the distribution in the African region, so you can see that there are only a number of countries that have NGOs, accredited NGOs, and all the other countries, they have none. So there are 44 states and 12 states only with accredited NGOs, and 33 states without accredited NGOs, which makes the African region not very well represented. So we also went and took a look at the database of the ICH website of the UNESCO and of the ICH NGO Forum, and we found that only these countries in the middle, they have 1 or 2 representations of NGOs, and all the other countries have none. So what we would like to do or to propose is to have this is the goal of this outreach plan. When we discussed, it was to have meetings with each region, with each electoral group, with the NGOs that are already accredited and already in the database and already the members of the ICH NGO Forum, and to discuss whether they have other partners, other NGOs that they collaborate with in the neighboring countries, and perhaps those other NGOs that work in the field of ICH, and if they have a potential and willingness and desire to be accredited, then perhaps you could direct them to us, to our working group, and perhaps we could have more individual meetings with them and tell more about our work and about the accreditation process, about the benefits and what can they do, what can they achieve, and about the importance of safeguarding and importance of NGOs and importance of role of these NGOs in the safeguarding of ICH. And if they are willing to, then perhaps we could help them maybe with information, maybe with some technical details of filling out the application form for the accreditation, and perhaps they could fill in their application. So this is basically what we're trying to do. And Africa was the first region that we are conducting our meeting with. So I already told about. So we're looking for partner NGOs in each region who have wealth of experience or have a long-term experience working in the field of ICH. And I'm sure that you have a lot of partners in other countries. I'm sure you have a regional network, and perhaps you could share the information of other NGOs who have a potential for accreditation during today's meeting, and perhaps we could contact those NGOs separately and have a more individual and detailed meeting. So our goal is to get at least from 1 to 5 contacts of NGOs from each accredited NGO. And this way build a little bit of a bigger network of new NGOs who have a potential to be accredited. And maybe next year, as a next step, first step, we would like to have this, build a database of new interested NGOs. And after that, we would like to have individual meetings with them, as I've mentioned already. And after that, we would like to produce tailored capacity building materials. For example, if some NGOs would like to have more information on the application process, or if some NGOs would like to have more information about the meaning of accreditation, what it is, and the roles of NGOs. So then we would be tailoring this capacity building materials regarding, based on the needs of these new potential NGOs, and have another meeting with them and somehow prepare them for the accreditation. So that's our plan for this next year. This is part of our outreach plan. And as I said, we're just beginning, and the African region was the first region. We're trying out this outreach plan. So if you could comment on it, give your feedbacks on it, and perhaps maybe you could propose something better, some other idea, or a different plan, then we're open, because the working group is open, and any accredited NGO and member of the ICH NGO Forum can take part in our work and make any contribution that you can. So that's pretty much it about our plans for the future and current plans. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please share with us. We are very looking forward to receiving them. And perhaps if Mehdi would like to add something, yeah. But I see a raised hand already. Leonce, you raised your hand. You raised your hand, please. The floor is yours.
Ok, merci. C'est bien Cholponai, j'ai bien prononcé?
Yeah, perfect.
Ok, d'accord. Merci pour l'initiative qui est allouée. Comme vous le remarquez déjà, pour la rencontre, on est tellement nombreux qu'on est jusqu'à 2. Et ça veut dire déjà ce que ça pourrait signifier. La représentativité de l'Afrique à plusieurs organes, ce n'est même pas seulement que la 2003, parce que je m'occupe de la 72 ici également. Et quand on fait le point en matière de représentativité sur la liste, ce n'est pas du tout la joie. Et les listes de la convention également, c'est les mêmes problèmes. Mais déjà, nous avons un sérieux problème, c'est surtout la fracture numérique. savez, nous aimons dire que l'Africain regarde avec la main. Et c'est pour dire que souvent, les rencontres en physique aident beaucoup plus que les rencontres en présentiel.
Generally, we need physical meeting, and we know that online meetings are not yet easy to have here in Africa, and internet connection, as I said, are really unstable. I'm really lucky today to be part of this meeting. And it's because I had to be on a mission, but it was canceled. So it was a great thing I could be there. But you know, a lot of people who work with me are in situation where connection is really unstable. They have also insecurity. So it's really a big challenge to see how we can arise consciousness with people when we have these difficulties. So it's a big problem to think about people who are not in privileged areas and who have problem with internet connection, and how we can have resources to organize in-person meeting in those specific areas. In Togo, for example, I accompanied an NGO who could have the accreditation 3 years ago. I'm trying to work also with Ivory Coast to see how we can get there. Also, I'm thinking about Mali. You know, there are neighboring countries also. I've been working with several NGOs also in Senegal to help them for accreditation. And we are still working on sub-regional level to really touch people, to raise this awareness. We have also Niger, Togo, Mali, and we really are working really hard to create this web, and we will see how we can help you, because we have a lot of people there working a lot, but the action are not really seen in other level, specifically on national level. So it's difficult to have a representation of people at certain level, but they are working on local level. So I'm sure that accreditation is a good point to have to really help on this work. And definitely this database is really important to have, because it will help us know who is working where, and to really focus our work. So it's definitely a work to be done. And about the map you showed, we didn't see Burkina Faso, but you know, we have 2 NGOs who are accredited there. So maybe we can update what you've been presenting. Thank you so much.
Yes, very much for your thoughtful comment. Yes, we understand there are technical challenges and not everybody is able to connect, but I liked your comment about the other NGOs that you've been working with in Togo and in Senegal. So I think it's great, and perhaps if you think that it will be beneficial, perhaps we could have a meeting with them if their internet allows, in other like virtual meeting. And then perhaps they could also share what kind of challenges they have and what actually hinders their accreditation process. Then you and Mary and I and those NGOs could meet separately and have a little bit more detailed discussion. What do you think, Mary?
Yes. Thank you, Leons. It was very, very, very interesting to hear, and very important that you have done this work already. And I agree with Jolponai that you have some valuable information and I think we have to go on with this kind of work and see how to, because we kind of need the connectivity with the hubs, and you have the information for already from your neighboring countries, and this is exactly the network we are kind of trying to create here, and which is very valuable. Just how to put where to put the information and when, I think that is very important to be effective, so that we really get the results. But this is, I think, a good. Now we are having this discussion to maybe make something out of it. But I was very happy to hear, Leons, what you said.
Yes, and before I forget about Burkina Faso, I think, yes, we do have two NGOs listed in the database, but there is only one star on the map because it's too small. Yeah, I think the Association Cultural Passat and Association pour la, I'm sorry, my French is non-existent. So Asama we have, and we have another association in Burkina Faso. So is that correct? Are these two NGOs accredited, right? Yeah,
Oui, en fait, ce n'est pas au niveau de la carte. Il y a un diagramme.
In fact, it's not on the map. It's on the diagram.
Okay. Yeah, then we will update it.
Is it possible to change it?
Yeah, of course. It's just a map that we have for our working group. So I will definitely change it for sure. And I think we have Mohammed. Thank you for joining us today. And so you raised your hand, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. I would like to intervene in this subject about the situation in the countries where I work, in Maghreb, in the north of Africa, in Libya, in Sudan as well, also in Comoro Island. NGOs seem reluctant with accreditation process because they don't understand the importance of this process. Each time that I go and meet with them in training, I give them flyers and I try to encourage them, but there is always something missing. I think that the forum should create contacts with these NGOs. What is interesting for us in the forum is to have the maximum of NGOs. So if we can send messages to these NGOs, we can try to work this way. I can create a list with the contacts that I have. The second difficulty is that there is a problem because the NGOs in our countries are working with culture, folklore, heritage, but they are not aware of the convention and the link with their work. Very few of them are aware of the convention. I try to give them flyers and speak with them. But I think it's essential that we can work to raise awareness and to explain that even if we are in an association about singing, about dancing, it's intangible heritage. Because a lot of NGOs are working with heritage. So it would be great to create contact to explain. They will let us know what they expect from us. And there is also one thing that is important is that in a lot of these countries, NGOs are not well perceived by people. People tend to think that they are just looking for opportunities. But related to the matters of the convention, they are the most important actors. But a lot of people really don't understand this because there are a lot of bad stories about NGOs. Each time I participate in a training in these countries, everywhere there are some elements, some organizations that are coming, but it's not always the case. In Mauritania, I've organized a training workshop with NGOs, and one organization seemed interested in the accreditation process. Sorry, I was saying that the forum should call these NGOs to sensitize them online during meetings. And the only thing that can guarantee this is having the forum contacting them directly and explaining the subject. This is what I wanted to say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. It was so great, and you've perfectly illustrated the challenges that the NGOs are facing. I think it's not only in your part of the world, but I think the perception of NGOs by general public is quite similar in many parts of the world. It can be applied to my country, the Central Asian region as whole. So yeah, there are certain things that we'll have to work on, but I really loved your idea of making the list of those other potential NGOs who work in the ICH field and who are interested, and would be great if they could get accredited. So perhaps if you could share their contact information with us, like active email addresses, names of contact people, and the names of the organizations, then we would, and if you could be the focal point for your region, for those countries, then we could have another separate meeting with you and with those NGOs, and we could have more detailed information on what kind of support they or what kind of materials they need, and what kind of challenges they have, and then perhaps our group would be working on building a capacity material for them. That would be really great if we could do that. Maddie, do you have anything else to add to Mohammed's comment?
Thank you, Mohammed. It was very, you are very to the point. I think this is a very important comment. And also now with Leon's and Mohammed, you are very, both of your expertise about the African situation and about the NGOs and your work that you have been doing and your connections. I think you are the ones who actually have the knowledge how we should go on. And of course, all these the problems are there, and it's not an easy task. We all know that for NGOs who don't even know what is the convention, or to really go to the path of accreditation. It's not a simple task, and it will take years always. So I think we have to be patient here, but I think we are now, I'm very happy for this possibility and for this discussion now that we are actually talking about this on this level, and maybe if we could find ways to go forward. I was actually just thinking by myself, because we were kind of hoping that, okay, we could now concentrate on Africa and then maybe to another continent. But now I have the feeling that it will take more than just one meeting like that maybe we shouldn't rush too much, and just try to really ask Leons and Mohammed, like, what is there to do, what do you really, if we all share the goal that we want more good African NGOs accredited to the convention in the future, or not good but suitable, like NGOs who want to be there with the accreditation. And I think this is a common goal to everybody, but how to reach to this goal? I think that's the key question. Should we have meetings like this? Should we have more direct emails? And I think you already answered to many of these questions with Leons and Mohammed. But I think to even ask ourselves more, what is the next step? What should we do? Who should we contact, and how should we go on? But I think we are already halfway there. I'm very happy for hearing this.
Yes, thank you, Maddie, for your valuable contribution. Yes, the question of what do we do next is a very important and significant one. So what do we do next? Leons, Mohammed, what do you think? What could be the next action that we can take as a working group? What do you think? Yes, Leons, please, you raise your hand.
Thank you very much. Thanks as well to Mohammed. As Matthew was saying, I think there is still a lot of work, and we need to speak with NGOs. I think we should link with the accredited NGOs and also interested NGOs. This would bring more people. But the big issue that we have is that the convention is not really known. And most of the NGOs are promoting culture, not safeguarding. So when we work for accreditation and we seek for proof that the organizations are working in the sense of safeguarding, there is sometimes an issue. So when we ask these organizations for this proof that they're contributing to safeguarding heritage, sometimes they don't have. So we have to accompany organizations in documenting their own activities. For example, when they organize a festival or other activities. So I think that step by step, we can improve this situation. This is what I can say.
Okay, thank you, Leons. And perhaps we could first also listen to Mohammed, and then we can continue the discussion. Yes, Mohammed.
Thank you. So I think we should be realistic. What I understand is that these NGOs have a lot of difficulties. Also, there is usually a confusion between association and NGOs, but it's not a problem. We know that all the people and organizations linked to ICH should be contacted. So maybe we can try to spread some material about this possible process to join, so that they are aware that it exists and that this institution should be strengthened. So we can create a flyer in the official languages used in these countries. I can create a list with the email address of these organizations. And then when they have this tool, then we can follow up with these organizations. We can follow up and ask them what they think, etc. But when they are not directly contacted, they will not react. So we need to create contacts with these organizations, because we work with communities, not with big organizations with a lot of money. So what we have is information. And these organizations have knowledge, and they can bring a lot, and they can be interested in the convention. So we need to also create the bridge between promotion and safeguarding. Because the convention is not at all saying that the right holders should not take advantage from their heritage. All of this is in the spirit of the convention. So if we begin to understand this widely, it will be really interesting. So we need to create this material translated in official languages, circulated, and wait to see how they react. We will be able also to explain that the forum is open for discussion and debate. This is what I think. We should be realistic. Because if we wait that people come, I see I've been working for 10 years with the convention. Every time people say they're interested, we give them flyers, but there is no response. So it's important that we use this experience, and we have to reach communities and organizations. Sometimes it's groups that are working with arts, etc. And also sometimes it's admin that is making things complicated. This is what I have to say for now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. I agree with you on the part that like more targeted contact of these NGOs is going to be a little bit more effective than just waiting for the organizations to come for us and ask for information. So that's what we've been thinking and do with Maddie, just to creating some kind of a capacity building materials. But first, we didn't know what materials the potential NGOs might need. So you can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, now it's working. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So yes, what I've been telling that I think targeted contact with these NGOs is going to be one of the good methods of attracting or recruiting more NGOs. And I'm just thinking that perhaps we could take different approaches in our outreach plan. For example, what Mohammed is suggesting is directly contacting those communities and associations and organizations that work in the ICH, but Leonce is proposing something else. So perhaps like African region and any other region is so big, perhaps we could take different approaches in different sub-regions and try to see what is going to work best. And if Mohammed, if you think that this awareness raising materials would help, then perhaps you could let us know what kind of need do you have, and maybe you also have some need for information or like building some capacity materials. Then perhaps we could sit together and our working group could help you to tailor that capacity awareness raising information to those organizations that you work with. So in that way, we could, use different approaches and make this process more inclusive. What do you think, Maddie, Leonce? And we have Babagana Abu Bakar. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So we have a new person who joined. So please feel free to put your comments, feedback, and participate in the discussion. So we're yes, Leonce, please, you've raised your hand.
Yes, thank you so much. About strategies, if we think about ASAMA and ACP, who are accredited on our continent, we've been organizing different festivals, and we shared information about accreditation. And here we are promoting cultural activities. So we try to see if those activities have results, have impacts for other other NGOs, to see how we can go on with this. Sometimes we evaluate forms of different candidates, and we always say that it's not so much the content, but how NGOs fill this form. And sometimes they don't know how to fill the forms. It's not adapted. I'm thinking about several cases. For example, an association from Togo who presented itself, but the accreditation was not given. So we have here a problem about filling this form, how we can help the associations when they have to fill the form. So it's just a problem of a technical problem. And sometimes these NGOs have great difficulties to write about their work. They can tell you about it, but when they have to write about it, it's difficult. So I think we need other people helping, other actors helping on this part, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Leonce. Yeah, filling the forms was also one of the concerns I've personally heard from the other NGOs in my region. So it's definitely an issue to look into. And Mohammed, you also have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, I totally agree with what said Leonce about the forms, filling the forms. So I think we could have a little document, a little note, where we explain that the forum could help the NGOs before they submit their form. And I have the same problems. Here, some association, they contact me, but they don't fill the form adequately. So you already know that UNESCO forms are not always easy to understand. There is a lot of redundancy, and you already know about this. But maybe our work could be first to motivate people. And sometimes they don't have an intellectual level sufficient enough to fill this form. We have to say this. So it's difficult for them to really have a good form. So we can help them with this. So if they know that they can have this help, I think it could be a good point to motivate them also. We will find a way for this. And once this problem is overcome, I think we can go on, because it's the first obstacle. If people can't fill this form well, it will be difficult to go on. And you know, if even states have difficulties to fill this form, so we really need to help NGOs with this. And people don't want to go in so much trouble because they don't know what's going to happen after with these forms. So it's like, why they're going to ask me a lot of things if I'm accredited. So it's our work, it's our mission to help these people to find solutions, maybe with focal points, with people locally. So we need to have this contact. If we don't do this, they just won't apply. And it's the case for a lot of countries here in Africa, in Maghreb. I have contact in a lot of countries, you know, and we explain them, we give them this form. They are here, but then they don't feel it. And it also depends on the language, you know, if you give them this form in French or in English, sometimes they don't know how to write in those languages. So we really need to find solution to fix this. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Mohammed. I think you've covered it to the point. And Maddie, I see your hand as well, please.
Yes. Yeah, thank you again, Mohammed, for those ideas and what you said. I think this is very important now that we realize the both sides here, that we have this targeted capacity building and contacting, and this is something that I think we agree that we have to do, and that is very important, that we really try to contact the NGOs who have the information about the other NGOs, or just to concentrate if they can fill a form, or what is their challenge, and we have to go very targeted. But I think on the other hand, what we have been discussed here is that there is a need for this awareness raising and general capacity building, which is kind of it comes from the idea that the people don't, and the NGOs, they don't know about the convention. So at the same time, we have to be very active with just to do our work with the heritage and with the convention, and tell everybody that we exist, and this is important. And on the other hand, we go very targeted with with some. So I think these are the two points, which are kind of not like choosing one or another, but they are at the same time that it's just a coin with two different sides. And if we go with this approach, I think we will achieve something. So we will be on the right track. But I would very much, Babagana Abu Bakar, it would be very, very nice to hear a presentation from you. Now that we are only so few, so we have been talking about this working group for to work with unequal representation of NGOs with the 2003 convention. But Babagana Abu Bakar, would it be possible for you to present yourself? You're not hearing, or
I think his audio is enabled.
okay.
His audio is not active because I only see the icon of a video camera, but no audio. So I think
Okay.
he can't hear us and he cannot reply. So
Okay. But
yeah, but we will have the recording of this meeting, and we will post it on the webpage of the ICH NGO Forum, or on the webpage of our working group. And I would very much like to invite you, Mohammed, and you, Leons, to join our group and to join our group's meetings. So you have up-to-date information on what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and your input and help and contribution is going to be invaluable. So if you just let me quickly share my screen, I will show you. So this is the webpage of the ICH NGO Forum, and if you go to the working groups, this is our working group, and here we have all the information on the activities and schedule, our mission statement. And then if you click on the activities, you will see that we've already, for the schedule for meetings for 2022, we've already had 2 meetings in January and in March. And the next meeting, the third meeting, will be in May, on the 26th of May. So we already have the Zoom link embedded here. So you can just put this date in your calendar and just join us. That would be really, really great to have you on board, and if we could really do something together. I'll also put the link here on the chat, and you can just follow and then put the schedule, put the dates into your schedule and join our meetings. That would be really great. Thank you. And Mohammed, I also see your raised hand. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I think I didn't really introduce myself. So I'm facilitator of the convention for Maghreb and Africa. I'm also executive secretary for an accredited NGO in Mauritania. And I'm part of the steering committee for the Arab region. And for me, it's really important. I don't know really how to do, but it's really important for me to share with you the lists of NGOs. I think this is the first step. I have the contacts, but I don't know how could I share with you these lists. I could share all the contacts of NGOs, for example, here in Mauritania and other countries, because I'm sure that if the information is sent from the forum directly to the NGOs, it will have more weight. So I will add the contact of the forum and all the agenda that you've shared. And I will really try, if I can, to join you to those meetings. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. And then that would be great if you could share the list of your contacts of these NGOs with us. So you can just put the name and the email address, just a simple Word document, and send it to my email. and to Maddie's email. So Maddie, if you could just put in the chat box your email, because I'm afraid I would misspell something. So, and then you can just send it to us and we will have it. And we will then in the next meetings, we will discuss and the best way to contact them, and then we will contact them as well. Yes, so that would be great if we have the list. And Leon, if you could also share the list of NGOs that you're working with, if you would like, then it would also be great. Yes, Maddie, please.
Yeah, I was thinking to ask from Mohammed and Leonce, especially that what would you think? Would it be okay to go with because we have the working group meeting when they are from all around the world, from different regions. We have NGOs, and the different regions, there is always a little bit different problems and different kind of point of views. So would it be okay to meet so that, of course, it would be very valuable to have you at the working group in the big meetings, but would we need another Africa meeting like this, or one-to-one coaching, or should we have like another? Even though we are not very many people now, but on the other hand, if we would get this sending to the contacts that Cholpana you have gathered, and now we would have the new NGOs. Should we have another meeting with the French interpretation and try to do work on the kind of a regional level? Because I really, on the other end, I'm also afraid if we next go to the world level, then we kind of lose the scope of things. But I don't, it's a question for Leonce and Mohammed. What do you think? What would be beneficial?
So personally, I think that we first have to do this work of contacting NGOs. Of course, if we try to regroup them in big groups, I think it will be complicated. So I will send you a list about Mauritania for the moment. And once you have the list, you can start to send messages. And I think it would be better to have local groups first, and then more general meetings. So for me, on 26th of May, I will be in South Africa, so I won't be able to join this meeting. But for the others, if I don't have anything, I will really try to be there. So about strategy, about specific meeting. So if I think about Africa, I think that targeted group for this meeting are not just accredited NGOs. It will mainly be NGOs who are not accredited and who really need this information. So we could focus this specific group with the participation of a NGO who could work as facilitators and really help the other NGOs to know about missions and objectives about the accreditation. So we could have this meeting with NGOs and non-NGOs.
Yes, that's the plan. That was the plan. So that's why we are organizing this meeting. This is a site meeting from our the big NGO, the big working group meeting. Oh, sorry, yes.
Sorry, Leonce is still.
Sorry,
speaking. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So if we don't have time to go into details about this, there is no problem, but I think it could be great to have this way of working. So I think here that NGOs are not so numerous in those countries. So we need to distinguish between NGOs and NGOs. So of course, as Leon said, we really work with non-accredited NGOs. This is we really need to elaborate this checklist of the different NGOs who are not accredited, and then have a little document and send them to these NGOs. So if they are accredited or not, we really want them to have a training, to be interested, and to have people who are ready to listen to them. So I think this will really help. And after the different reaction that we will get in different countries and locally also, we can have a more general meeting. So the first step is to raise awareness at local level. Imagine the number of people who could be interested about this work. And I think there is a lot of people who could really join this meeting. I think there is a lot of people here in our countries, but they are not informed. They don't have access to information. So our mission really is to attract them to share information about convention so that they can know about it, and they can know that then they are part of it. So we could change this more hierarchical approach and really work first with grassroots and share what's happening, share the information, and I can help with translation to Arab, for example, for certain countries, and also to French. I would please to do it. I don't really know about how to do it, but I think it could be good to have like a little note or little documents really focused for people who don't know about convention, and to have basic information so they can after know that convention and UNESCO has its own job, but what we want here in this forum is to really grow as a working group. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Leon and Mohammed. Okay, Maddie, go ahead.
Very good, very interesting, very important. I remember we have talked with the working group at some point of making short videos which would explain in different languages why should we get accredited, what's the benefit of it, and that would be very important, so that it would be in for example, if it would be Mohammed and Leonce, if you could make a video in Zoom just for 5 minutes in French or in any of your languages, and then just ask, why are you accredited? What does it mean? Very basic kind of capacity building material. And I was kind of thinking of that when you, Mohammed, when you said about like a short list. And that's another, I think we could have just a very short document for the NGOs who are not accredited. Like why, what's the benefit, and what is intangible cultural heritage? Just the basic things, and then maybe some video material, or we could have the video material in the future. But also if we would have this kind of capacity building material, it would be also very beneficial to send the email to different NGOs that, okay, have you heard we will be having a meeting after 2 months, and now you can go check these videos. And I think this discussion we are now having, it's already one of the capacity building materials there is, because we are having this conversation, and I think we could use these kind of things and build up from that a little by little, and maybe in a few years we would have a really something to work with. But that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. And to second Mary's point, I also would like, I agree with you, Mohammed, that there is no information. Maybe there is a need for information on the convention itself, because here in our region, we also struggle with the lack of information on the convention itself. So right now, what we are trying as our NGO to do is to make this very short infographic animations, about 1 to 2 minutes, explaining the basic concepts of the convention. What is community? What is ICH? What is the convention itself? You know, with little text, but like with visual information, because when we have the document, it's difficult to read and comprehend, but when you visually see it, it's kind of, you know, more perceptive. So perhaps we could develop something like that in different languages, and then distribute it to among communities and NGOs for them to just get first the knowledge of the convention itself, and after that we could dwell a little bit more on the accreditation and all the other steps there is. So maybe we can just develop quite a few of these informative videos, like short videos, I guess I say. So yeah, and then please, Mohammed, you had something else to add? Go ahead.
Yes, perfect. This is exactly the idea that I was submitting. If there are already materials that exist, we can take inspiration from them. Because if I develop the material at the local level, maybe it will not have the same impact as something that is coming from the forum. The impact when it's coming from a big institution or the forum is higher. I've already developed some tools that are available in different languages. We have 5 or 4 communities, sorry, with different languages. And I created really simple flyers about the convention, the role of accredited NGOs, but it's really local. I cannot speak on behalf of the forum, but if it's the forum and the platform of the forum that is contacting organization, it will be really helpful, because otherwise we can explain, speak in meetings, give information, but it's not giving fruits for now. So I think it would be important to have the forum contacting these organizations, maybe spreading a little material. I can send you what I've created about the convention. I have it in French and in local languages. We can translate it to English. It can be a basis. But I think it's important that the forum can integrate this material in its activities to reach the organization. And I'm really interested in the videos that you were speaking about, because I think it will help a lot. So I would like to see them. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. If you could share the information that you have already developed, then we would be glad to look into them and perhaps use it as a basis, as you say. Yes, and the video materials that we're talking about, it's in the process of we were thinking about it, and then like now I think we see that there is a need, and then we will be going into details of developing them. So perhaps that's actually the things that we discussed during our monthly meetings of the working group, of our like world working group, or whatever that we call it. So if you could join that once as well, so we can more thematically talk during that time. But this is actually was the meeting for only the NGOs in the African region, so that's why we have it separately. And Leonce, you've raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I also agree with the proposal. And I think that we should also work with local languages. And also, it's important that accredited NGOs are recognized as well at the local level, because a lot of times people don't know that they are accredited. And also there is the issue of the linguistic barriers, because not everybody speaks different languages. So we need to have both processes together with the forum and at the local level to reach NGOs. This is what I can say.
Great, thanks. So, yeah, Mohammed, go ahead.
Yes, I approve what Leonce is saying, that we need to reach communities. As you know, there are a lot of languages in our regions. And when we translate these tools in local languages, people are running to get them. People are really more interested when it's in their languages, and local NGOs need to be able to have materials in their languages. And we also need to have accredited NGOs recognized at the local level, as Leon said, but it's not the case in all countries. And I also support the idea that communicating in local languages is really efficient and important, because we speak to people with the language that they speak and not administration or official language. It's not about formalities. It's about their languages, and they will appropriate the information more easily. It's not about academic languages, but it's about reality in life. It's really important. And it has been really helpful. I have experience in Comor Islands when I was supported by local interpreters during conversations. And this way, it was really, really faster to get information. It's really important. I will not teach you about this, but it's clear that we need to speak to people in their languages. Thank you.
Yes, certainly the issue of languages is very important, and it's one of the challenging ones. Yeah, we will probably have to dwell more on this. But of course, yeah, Mehdi, but before giving the floor to Mehdi, I would like to go back to the question that Mehdi has already asked. This meeting specifically was for the accredited NGOs already and members of the forum, but there are 31 accredited NGOs in the database that I've collected, but not all of them have answered, not all of them have joined today's meeting. So it's only you, Mohammed, and Leons, and Babakar, but he, I think, has some connection issues and he left. So going back to Maddie's question, do you think it would be significant, or it would be needed to have another meeting with the accredited NGOs in Africa, just like this one? And perhaps if you could talk to other NGOs in your regions who are already accredited, perhaps they could join the meeting, and then we could have another discussion like this before making the next step. So this is the one question I would like you to have the answer for, because we've agreed that our meeting will close in 10 minutes at 13:30. So before closing that, it would be great to settle some things. Yes. Mehdi, first it was Mehdi who raised his hand. Go ahead, and then we can go to Mohammed.
Yeah, just to note that I really like the infographics that you, Jolpana, you said or suggested or said that you are doing. That maybe that might be a part of the answer to our language problem, because it always comes that this is very essential to how to get the local languages involved. And maybe the infographics, we can use it on a lighter basis. We don't have to be so that there's not always 5 pages of text, but actually some very key concepts, and then the infographics, and maybe we can actually work with that. So just to say that I really like this approach, and I never thought of that before, and maybe this would be something to consider with our working group also, that we could participate more. If Jolpana, that would be okay for the organization or also.
Yeah, certainly. Oh, that's actually the idea. And we actually submitted our request for international assistance. And I don't know whether our project will get supported or not, but if it gets supported, our plan is to develop something like that. But I think within our working group, the bigger working group that we're Maddie and I working, so perhaps we could do something together, and maybe Mohammed, Leons, or whoever wants to, they can also join, and perhaps we could make one like as a template in English that could be interpreted into many other languages. Nice. And then we can just post it. Then I think that would be a great tool.
That'd be so good idea.
So Mohammed, please, your turn.
I just wanted to react on the topic of participation. You know, with virtual meetings, we also have the issue of time zones, because Latin America cannot be with us. It's a question of time zones. I think that maybe we can split groups according to continents. Because, for example, in South America, they are still sleeping. Or in Japan, it's really late, so it's difficult to get everybody at the same time. There is always an issue. There is someone that is waking up at 5 a.m. with speaking with someone who is awake. So I think it's not a lack of interest, but we also need to think about time zones. So we can have people meeting, because, for example, now it's noon. It must be the same for Leon. But people are sleeping in other parts of the world.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed.
So we need to think about the solution.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. But actually, this meeting is only for accredited NGOs in the African region. it's not for South America, it's not for Caribbean, it's only for the African region. So we would like to have such meetings for each region. But first we started like in alphabetical order. So we turned to Africa first. And then the question is, do we need one such meeting with the African accredited NGOs? Or what do you think? Yes, Leon, please go ahead. You raised your hand.
Thank you. I have a comment. I think that today the quorum is not attained, and it would be a good thing to reprogram a new meeting. Because if we have only 3 people on 31 NGOs, it's not enough. So we could continue speaking and discussing with more people. I'm sorry, it's okay. I was not aware it was only for Africa. And I agree with Leonce, we should reprogram the meeting and also follow up after the invitation. And we'll try to support to reach organizations. I think that we are close to the end of the meeting. It's almost the end.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. And then I agree with your point. If you could, I have this database of accredited NGOs from the African region. So maybe I could send this Excel file to you and Leonce, and you could go through, and then perhaps if you know some of these organizations, you can look at their email addresses. Perhaps I have their wrong addresses, or maybe some of their addresses are inactive, and perhaps you could change that and then return back to me, and then we would have like more or less updated document. What do you think? Will that work?
Yes, absolutely. For the Arab world in Africa, I can check contacts and confirm participation for at least their email address, inshallah.
Perfect, perfect.
Do you have my email address?
Yes, I do. Great, thank you so much for your support. So just wrapping up, so we've discussed so many things. We've discussed that we need to have developed this capacity building and awareness raising materials. We would look into that, and then there is a need to have another meeting with the African NGOs with the wider participation of accredited NGOs, and I will send you the list. You could go through and check. Also, I was thinking about one more thing that I think I forgot. I'm sorry. Okay, and if you have any questions, just please ask, write me or Maddie, and we'll be able to reply. And also from Mohammed, we will be waiting for the list of not accredited NGOs that you work with that we can contact later on. And the last remarks, Maddie, if you have any.
Just maybe just to make sure, the next Africa meeting, should it be with also with the NGOs who are not accredited, so that we get those also involved, or only the accredited NGOs? I didn't get it. I think there's like a, maybe I would be supporting the idea that there could be also other NGOs involved. So just to gather the information, and maybe we can have another meeting after that also. But just if we have somebody, we don't kind of rule them out in a way from the. But it's just to make sure, or ask a question.
It's what do you think, Mohammed and Leonce? Do you think for the next meeting it would be good to include not accredited NGOs?
Accredited. Yes, absolutely. I think it would be interesting to have more people. All people on the list, and we'll try to reach to more organizations so we can have a wider debate. I will check the list that you send and we'll be in touch. And we also use WhatsApp a lot. So maybe you can also include this in the way you contact people. So we need to put our numbers as well.
Yes, that would be great. Please put your number, Mohammed, and perhaps we could, Mary, what do you think? Perhaps we could create a WhatsApp group for the African region of NGOs, and we can exchange. Yeah, okay, then I will create a separate group.
But I
tonight.
don't see the chat.
It's on the bottom panel. It should be the chat box, square thing. Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay, so I think I've added my number now. Do you see it?
Yes, yes, I got it. Thank you so much. So tonight I will create a WhatsApp group, and we can keep adding people in there and exchange information about the upcoming meetings and everything. Great, perfect. So it's 1:30 now, and thank you so much for everything, for such a great discussion. I think it was very fruitful and very rich, and thank you so much for taking your time. It's really great. It's invaluable for us, and we will continue doing our job, and I will send you the list. I will get your list, and then we will plan for our next meeting with the African accredited NGOs and not accredited NGOs. Great, thank you. And yeah, so Mary, if you would like to have some words after everybody leaves, we can, or okay, perfect. So thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Leon. So I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.
Have a good day. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much, Rachel and Guy. It was really great to have your support. Yeah, without you, I don't think we would be able to do this. Thank you so much. And Martin, where are you located, Guy?
In Ecuador.
Oh, in Ecuador. Okay. Where's Martin, Maddie? Do you know?
I think he's either in Colombia or then in Holland. I think in Holland.
Oh, okay. So maybe I thought if he's somewhere around you, maybe I thought he can just, because we have the payment now. Yeah, payment now. So he said that he will come back from his holiday next week. So, and then, cool. Yeah, and then we will be in touch. So I'll reiterate again that we will have to make the payment to you, and we can discuss it, the method of payment, and whether we could use the WeTransfer.
Okay, sure.
Great.
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll
thank
be
you.
In touch with,
yes.
Martin,
yes. Thank you so much. And then if we have another meeting, then we will definitely reach out to you guys for your help.
Yeah. Yeah,
thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Chopra. That was very good. I'm so happy. Even though we were just few, I think we got, that was very good.
Yeah, I thought that we will not have such a discussion, but I think the discussion was really nice from Mohammed and Leon's, I think.
Yeah, they talked a lot. That was the most important, I think.
Yeah.
And this is something, but when there is a lot of people, they have sometimes said it, but I think we just need to give them space to speak.
Yeah.
And that's how we get forward, I know, in a way. And I think that also with the interpreters, I think it works very well like this.
Yeah.
So I think we can, and it's not a lot of money, like if you compare it to the results that we can have much better results. So it's good experience.
But the financial issue, because like L'Oreal said that this is the for one per year annually they can allocate only 100 USD for interpretation. I don't know whether it's like up for a discussion or we can ask for more. But actually, when I was writing out the rates from the interpreters platform, the African interpreters, their rates are a little bit lower. So I thought that maybe for 1.5 hours, one interpreter would agree, and for 1.5 hours for 100 USD would be sufficient according to their rates. But most of the African interpreters, like based in Africa, they didn't reply, and I had to look for the interpreters through my network. So one of my colleagues, he knew these guys from the ICC, some kind of an organization, something, and then they agreed to work in pairs because they change for 100 USD as a semi-volunteer work, but usually they would do 145 USD per hour per person. So if we would like to do it next time, I don't know, perhaps we would have to ask the steering committee for a little bit more funds if they agree.
Yeah, we can do, or I think if it's our organization, we can also pay for the next interpretation. It's okay, just if we know the way that it can be done. So because it's always the international transactions, it's a little bit more complicated. So
yeah,
so I think that shouldn't be the problem right now, but just to learn from, of course, in the future, I think it would be also very good for the steering committee to have this kind of funds, to have like maybe 50 meetings online with interpretations. I think that would be very good kind of money well spent if you to the ICH NGO forum, and it actually, that was a very nice experience. I haven't, of course, I've been in meetings with the interpretations, but not like now looking closer to it. And,
so the simultaneous works very well. I think Rachel was doing a great job because she was actually like she was interpreting simultaneously at the same time with the speaker, but Gael, I think she was doing mostly like a semi consecutive because she was waiting for them, because my husband is a professional conference interpreter. So
so that was the other. So when Gael was doing from English to French.
No, they were both doing English, French, French, English, but consecutive, it's when you listen for the sentence, and then you make a pause, and then you speak. But the simultaneous is you just at the same time interpret. So you don't really have to make any pauses. I mean, it's different people do it differently, but when you make the pauses, it's not really a simultaneous interpretation. But I think today everything went well. And Mohammed and Leon, they were speaking very slowly, and then and so I will send them both of them the contacts, the database that I made for them to check, and we'll wait from, where is Mohammed again from? He's from Mauritania.
Mauritania,
Mauritania. Okay, I see.
And, I have this feeling about this, like because it's very hard to get the people, especially from the underrepresented. There's so many sides to the problem that we are trying to face here, and it's like even though if we would have 1,000 years of time, we couldn't do it. It's like so big, the thing. So just like if you do like small baby steps, I think we have to be very, very happy with those also, and like how to go on. I was really, because the discussion was so nice, and now I think that was a good format to have this discussion with the interpreters, and then just like we really do progress here. Then that's just like I was thinking kind of like a thematic years or so on that maybe we should concentrate the next 2 years on Africa and then and not be or then Arab states or have okay I'm just like thinking out loud, but really like these kind of meetings, because I think the actual things that we are discussing they tend to be the same all the time. I don't know if you agree
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
there's
I do
not
agree.
like new things coming up anymore, because we have
Yep.
had these discussions a lot. So I think we just have to catch these things that we are the five basic topics, and we have to very simplify the message here,
Yeah,
and with
that's
the
true.
maybe the infographics and like there's a possibility for accreditation. Are you a suitable NGO? Please come to our family or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
just to have this kind of a message, and then just like do it over and over again, and over
Yeah,
and over again. And this is something
exactly.
that is actually beneficial for the convention, and that way we can have the best result.
Yeah,
And
I
but
agree.
I think that now I was very happy to hear this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And I think the situation and the challenges is almost the same for all the regions, with this
Mm,
awareness raising on the convention itself, on the
yeah.
accreditation and the
Yeah.
language issues, and that NGOs are not feeling competent enough or
Mm,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's like all over the places, it's the same thing. So perhaps we could just go with this infographics or some other materials. Then I think it would
Hmm.
be good uh, for many regions too. And then I agree
Mm,
with that. Perhaps we could focus on Africa for a year or two, and not
mm.
because it's a very big region, and to get into, yeah, that's a big
And
one.
maybe at some point when maybe we just need to discuss and discuss over and over again, and then at some point we can come up with like a project plan. That was already, I think, proposed by Laurier, maybe, or Robert. I can't remember. Was it last December, or even the year before? That we should kind of have a project with project money and really do something concrete. But I think if we continue working like this, we will have these concrete. It will be very easy to make a project after a while. Like, and then we think like, should it be a big one or a small one, or a networking project, or should we actually have own money, and how should we work? I'm sure that the secretariat is loving this work that we are doing, because I really believe that this is very, very important to the convention. Or if they don't, they are wrong. They should at least. And I don't know if the secretariat could do it. I think this is maybe for the NGO, for us to do.
Yeah, I think so. I
So
mean,
maybe they
Secretariat,
don't.
yeah,
They are
don't
too
have.
high up in a way in the
Yeah,
tower.
that's true. It's like in the grassroots level. So that was the
Hmm.
first thing about the project idea. That was the thing that I got in my mind when I was making these notes while listening to the conversation. And I think it would be I mean, after maybe a couple of meetings, like, I mean, yeah, if we keep talking to different regions and to different NGOs, I think their project plan will just eventually ripen, and then we could
Yeah, yeah, and I think it
something.
has something to do with the capacity building materials and with the
Yeah,
awareness raising, and when getting the message to the not yet accredited NGOs. How to
yes,
kind of get them involved in a correct way, not just that, okay, here's a convention and then we keep the paper, but
yeah,
like a intelligent way to approach.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I think if we can do it in a, if there, I think one of the main things should be that there should be NGOs from all the regions, and so it shouldn't be so that it's well like. Or I really to make it work, it should be so that we have an African NGO, a committed NGO working with the project.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
all the languages and all the kind of the. But I think it might be possible to get.
I think
I'm
so too.
very
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
So maybe so when do you think we can plan for the next meeting? Before our main meeting or before the
Was it when was the main meeting or
26th of May?
I think it has to be after.
After? Okay.
After.
So
Yeah.
what do you think, like about the end of May? 30th or first of, or maybe like the beginning of June?
Maybe the beginning of June is good.
Beginning of June, okay. Beginning of June.
If
The
it's
first
okay
week
for
of
you.
June. No, it's fine, yes. I think I can always find 2 hours. Beginning of June.
The
Let's see.
6th and the 7th, they are a little bit hard for me. I'll be
Okay.
in a seminar, but they might be
Before?
possible also then.
Oh, well, we can do the before. Okay, so here's the calendar. So Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. But yeah, that's the problem, that they have this internet connection and which is not stable. That's not right. We can do the first week of June. It's first, second, third.
Yeah.
Third. It's Friday.
Any of those are very good.
Okay, either first or maybe not Friday, because maybe one of this more Islamic countries of Africa, maybe they have this Friday prayer, and yeah, maybe then we can do either on Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday, 2nd of June, I think would be okay.
Okay. And
Okay,
that would be
perfect.
the same time. I think this is good.
Yeah,
Or did
12.
you get that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the noon time is good for everybody. And then once we confirm the list with Mohammed and Leonce, then we can send the letters, and then perhaps we could book Rachel and Gael again, since they're already
I think,
since they're already in the topic. Yeah.
And then I think from Abe, from Mauritius, we have to get them also involved because they are usually very active. So I think at least, and then all the other ones also, I think you get the email list and try to get as many as possible. And then I was thinking, I think it would be nice to just give the presentation again in the beginning, like you did. I think it's very good. And I think we should do it over and over again to make it like to make it real.
Okay.
But then I don't know. Do you think that should we just kind of collect ideas like we did now, or should we be more concrete? That there are like should we divide like agenda items that what kind of capacity building material or what or and then and maybe just two of you, should we kind of plan it ahead? Because I like these infographics. I think that would be like a great idea to just to bring up. And then Mohammed was talking about the flyer. So I think there is something, even though it's kind of a it's there are some bad things, but also if it's just like a PDF, like a very simple PDF that's kind of a approach or aims to the NGOs who are not accredited but should be accredited. Like what should it say? I think that would be helpful in a way. So to make like a simple PDF. And then also about the videos, I still kind of, even though I don't know if I'm the only one who likes the idea, but
no, I do like it too.
But because I think it would be very easy for just Mohammed and Leonce that they could talk just by them two, so that we wouldn't be there, or then maybe if it's, I don't know if it's possible, and they would talk in French and they would present themselves that, okay, we are working in Mauritania with this organization and we are accredited to this. What is beneficial about this is this and this and this and this, and we can work better. And then Leonce would say the same thing, and okay, we are in Burkina Faso and we are working with these traditions and this and this and this. And then if there would be just like a 3-minute video that we could put it to the website and just to have like a capacity building material for all the African French speaking NGOs.
And Arab
But I don't.
speaking. Yeah. Oh, so sorry. I love
Hmm.
the idea, and I think I'm more for the concrete plans rather than just general talk. So perhaps we could divide it. So maybe we could have this already some ideas on the infographics and present it, and also the ideas on the video and present it. So for example, what would the video have, and then make already like questions, the main questions that the presenter would answer. For example, maybe they could just tell quickly about the ICH. What is ICH in there? And because not everybody understands what's ICH. Some people think that cuisine is not an ICH or dance is not an ICH. And then and then why they decided to get it accredited, and how does it contribute to the safeguarding of their thing. Maybe 2 minutes, or maybe maximum 3 minutes, so it's not very long. And then maybe on the infographics, the same thing. We could make quick presentation on what would be in the infographics and why would that be important. And on the flyers, perhaps Mohammed could, do you think it could make a presentation on his flyers and what kind of information he has? And then maybe perhaps this flyer is already a ready material, and it could be maybe adopted by different NGOs in their regions. And and then perhaps if somebody else will be as active as Mohammed or as Leonce from the other parts of Africa, then they could be the focal point for those regions. So maybe we could have this next meeting more concrete with these things.
That would be,
on the agenda.
It's very, just a few ideas. I think this is very good. So we can have actually 3 topics under the capacity building material, and I can talk about the videos or then we can have a pre-meeting with you and we can plan it together. It's okay for me also.
Yeah.
But the video, the infographics, and then the
flyers,
handouts or flyer.
The handouts.
And I was thinking just another idea. Maybe just for to think to have this video. If we have this kind of a Zoom discussion, like me and you discussing about NGOs and so on. And then the infographics, we were now, I think Mohammed was saying about the hardship with actually writing the file, that could it be the topic for the infographics, like how to get accredited, like in a practice, like, okay, go to this website and every second year you have to fill up this form. It's important to understand what is ICH and how you work with communities and how you just get the basic ideas, so that maybe to make it easier. And then another idea that came after that, like could we also combine, like maybe this will be when we have this big worldwide project in the future, maybe we can include this idea to that one, but to kind of to have the infographics and then have the interviews like together in the same video. That would be also like possible to kind of have them interlinked.
That
so
would
that
be
there's
great.
kind of a first 20-second infographics and then 30 seconds interview of Mohammed, and then but just a possibility, but maybe not think of that now, but just to
no, I think it's a good idea to think about the content of the infographic video. I actually got inspired because there is a independent media resource that is like I started as a startup here in Kyrgyzstan, and then they have a really great infographic like videos for 1 minute or 1.5 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
I could send you a link, and then maybe we could, I don't know if you have time, maybe I could play around. I'm not really a video creator, but maybe a slideshow we can make something like this, or just show as an example what do we mean by infographic video. And then perhaps we could display it during the next meeting, so people have like a little bit more understanding of what we're talking about. Yes, and maybe some other NGOs might have people who are very handy in making videos, and maybe they could also help on a voluntary basis. I don't know.
Yeah, this is very good because it's very kind of a, how do you say it? It's very scalable, or you can copy because
Yeah.
you just it works in every country if you go like
Yeah,
as simple as possible, and I think it's very, yeah, and that there is a big value in that if you can do it, if you can copy it to 150 different countries and languages and so on. So we really do make a big effect.
so we can make one general template and then and then
That would be
translate it.
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, different language. Either like put subtitles or just have the audio recording and then put it on the infographic video. And I think that would be that would work great. And then for the infographics, we can choose the topics like the convention itself, the application process, and I think that's that might work actually.
I think it's that's so good. We are 100% in this. This is very nice.
Okay.
Can you book the interpreters to the next meeting also?
Yeah, sure,
okay?
sure. I will write them and book them already tonight.
Yeah.
And we'll send the database to Leon's and to Mohammed, and we'll also copy you in there. And perhaps you could also check the database and see whether that your friend
Abe, yeah.
Abe and some other, and then Marusia's email is in there, or just maybe I missed because like
I will.
according to the data by Kalayan, there are few NGOs that I think I have more NGOs than Kalayan has in his infographics, in his graphics. So I don't know. Maybe I'm sending the information to
we need to have our own researcher to do this because there's always some gap
yes.
with the numbers.
And what I was also thinking about is that perhaps we could think about a sort of like a template or a logo for our working group, so we can just put it in the presentations, you know, like as a head letter or something like this, or when we open this meeting. So it's like more I would say it I don't know, more effective or efficient, because I like all these weird things to go with. So and so I don't, Barbara is coming, but I think she missed a lot. So
maybe you have time, or you have to go?
No, I do have time. Yeah,
I think we should
let her in. Okay,
let her in if it's okay.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
We will see. Maybe, yeah, because I was thinking also it's always the time differences that. Hello, Barbara. I think Barbara was in one of our meetings. Wasn't she?
No, I think Barbara was in the ad hoc committee meeting for the regulatory instruments, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but or maybe she was. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Hi, Barbara.
Nice to meet you,
Mati.
again.
I'm really sorry for coming in late. I've been trying to log in. My internet was not really supportive. Yeah.
Hello, Barbara. Nice to see you here.
Nice seeing you too.
We were actually, we just have finished, and we were just having a chat with Cholponai about the future plans, what we will do with the working group and with the Africa region. And so we had not very many people, but we had a very, very nice meeting and very good conversation with the interpretation working, and I think we got very good ideas to how to go forward.
That is really good. And is there any way I could access the minutes, the agreed upon actions, so that I can also do something in case we are required to make any efforts?
Yes, we've been recording the meeting, Barbara, and certainly we will have the recording posted on the webpage of our working group on the ICH NGO forum, and I can send you a link. If you do you think you could put your phone number and email address here? So because we're thinking of creating a WhatsApp group for accredited NGOs from the African region. So I can include you there, and then I will send you the link once the recording is posted on the webpage. Since not many NGOs were able to participate today, we agreed that we will have one more meeting like this, only for the accredited NGOs and non-accredited NGOs from the African region. It's going to be the first week of June. And we will send you information well in advance, so you know the date and time. Also, what we've been thinking about is what. Muhammad and Leonce were here today, so we agreed that I will send them the database of the accredited NGOs from Africa, so they could check the emails of those partner organizations that they know or worked with, or so, because not some of the emails have bounced back. So perhaps I could also send you that database as well. Maybe you can just look through, and if there are some discrepancies or errors, maybe you can correct them. And what else we agreed upon? We also agreed that our point was that we are trying to recruit other non-accredited NGOs from the African region, but who have strong potential to be accredited to the convention. And they are willing to, but perhaps they need maybe more information on the way how to fill out the application forms, or maybe they need more information on what is accreditation. So perhaps if you know such organizations that with, you could share their contacts with us, and maybe we will invite them to our next meeting where they can also participate, listen in, and share their feedbacks and comments. So this is basically the key things that we've discussed today during our meeting.
Thank you very much, Chopanai, for the update. I feel like I've been there. After reading there, really, I felt that the cause and the purpose was really very, very important. How do we bring on board more organizations? I'll be able to contact a few others. There are also those that in Uganda, at least I know 2 others. I don't know whether they've been able to attend in today's meeting, but I'll also get their email addresses and share them with you. I've shared with you our email address, ccfu@crosscultural foundation. Oh, it's cfu@crossculturalfoundation.or.ug, not Cross Cultural Foundation of Uganda. Sorry, I'm going to repeat that for you. And then I will be able to scout around for new organizations, rather not new, but those that could also benefit from joining this forum that are also doing intangible cultural heritage, and I will be able to share with you.
Yeah, of course, certainly that would be great. So that will be awesome. And then we also talked about the capacity building materials, awareness raising materials, on what topics they could be and how could they be tailored to specific needs and languages and challenges in different regions or sub-regions. So we'll be reflecting upon them during our next meeting as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing though that I have tried to inquire from the Secretariat that I hadn't gotten information was about existing opportunities for training as facilitators in ICH under the convention. Because what I know, there are a number of accredited facilitators for learning purposes. So is there still an opportunity that the Secretariat does this? And if yes, how does one go about getting this capacity building to become a facilitator of ICH?
I think Maddie would be more in the knowledge to answer to that question.
I think I don't. Okay, it's the secretariat, the ICH entity. I think they are the ones to answer, because the ICH forum or the accredited NGOs, we are not involved directly with this capacity building of or the
Opportunity.
To organize these trainings. But if I have understood correctly, that they do continue, and they time to time they are in one country and in other region, and so they kind of circulate always. But it's maybe to find in your own region. It's not every year or even every 3 years. I don't know if it happens like that, but I think you can find at the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage website, the events. If you go to the events, or what was the topic of it? Was it events or happening or so on? So I think they are, events. See all events in the main page. Okay, there's not from this year, but training of it's in Beirut, Lebanon. It was a year ago in July, the last time. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
To be,
I keep my fingers crossed and keep checking on the website for opportunities for Africa.
Yeah, and perhaps you could also contact your national commission for UNESCO. That's actually in our region, in our country, that's the national commission that does organize these trainings for the facilitators in the country and in the region. I don't know how it's done in the other regions, yeah.
Okay, I'll also check with them, since we even have them as board members.
Oh.
So we have a representative on the board to keep on guiding us and advising.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Otherwise, I would let you continue your discussion, but my apology, I would like to appreciate the information provided. Okay. I look for the minutes, and I'll do my part of the actions that have been proposed and agreed upon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining, and we'll be looking forward to meeting you next time on the first week of June. We'll send you the details a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was great, actually. So I think I'm still recording. I'm so